The letter that was delivered to my house wasn't meant for me. I almost threw the letter away. It was one of those plain envelopes with no return address and my street written in uneven handwriting. At first I assumed it was a mistake, maybe something meant for the previous tenant, or a neighbor whose number had been written incorrectly. I get mail like that sometimes. Normally I just mark it, wrong address, and put it back in the mailbox. But something about this one made me pause. Maybe it was the way my house number was written twice on the front, like whoever wrote it wanted to make absolutely sure it reached this place. I opened it at my kitchen counter without thinking much about it. Inside was a single sheet of paper. The first line made my stomach drop. It said, "If you're reading this, it means Daniel never came back." I read that line 3 times before my brain started working again. There was no Daniel in my house. No Daniel living nearby that I knew of. The letter definitely wasn't meant for me. But curiosity is a strange thing. Once a sentence like that enters your mind, you can't just fold the paper back up and forget it. The letter went on. Whoever wrote it was explaining something to Daniel. Something that sounded like instructions mixed with an apology. There were mentions of a meeting place, of money hidden somewhere safe, of mistakes that had already gone too far. None of it made sense to me. Until I reached the last paragraph. The writer said, "If someone else finds this letter, it probably means the house was sold. If that's the case, I'm sorry you're involved now." That sentence made the room feel smaller. Because I had bought this house 8 months earlier. Suddenly the letter didn't feel random anymore. I reread it slowly, this time noticing small details. A street name I recognized from the other side of town. A date written in the corner that was almost 2 years old. And one very specific instruction telling Daniel where something had been hidden. I told myself not to get involved. This clearly had nothing to do with me. It could have been a prank. Or someone dealing with problems I didn't want anywhere near my life. For 2 days, I left the letter sitting on the kitchen table. Then curiosity won. The instruction in the letter mentioned a loose board in the garage. I had never noticed anything unusual there, but I went to look anyway. At first, everything seemed normal. Then I saw it. One plank in the corner of the wooden wall looked slightly newer than the others. It took less than a minute to pry it loose. Behind it was a small metal box. That was the moment I realized the letter hadn't been exaggerating. Inside the box were several envelopes filled with cash and a small notebook. The kind of notebook someone uses to record things they don't want anyone else to see. Transactions. Names. Dates. None of the names meant anything to me. But one of them appeared repeatedly. Daniel. For a long time I just sat there in the garage staring at the box. I had bought a house thinking the only thing I needed to worry about was mortgage payments and broken appliances. Instead, I was holding a piece of someone else's unfinished life. I still don't know who Daniel is. I don't know why the letter was never delivered to him. And I haven't touched the money. Sometimes I wonder if one day someone will knock on my door asking questions I won't know how to answer. Until then, the box is back where I found it. And every time I walk into my garage, I can't help thinking about the story that ended here long before I arrived. Thank you for watching. Check out my channel for more stories like this. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. Midnight Tea Stories.